I think this certainly does open up the floodgates all around the country now as each state looks to make gains that will benefit their own political party. I've been very clear that whether it's Republicans or Democrats attempting to politically gerrymander, that it's wrong. I believe it's corrupt. And it silences and takes away the voice of the people who are supposed to be the ones who decide our elections. I think it's really important that we have the most competitive seats possible. That is how you hold your representative accountable, and that is how you ensure that they actually come out and speak to you, the voters, about what they're doing, what they're not doing, how they vote, and why. And so I don't support what Texas is doing, and certainly, obviously, there's concern that they may try to do this again in New York. Now, in 2022, Kathy Hochul and the Democrats did gerrymander even after there was a ballot referendum in which New Yorkers made very clear they did not want political gerrymandering. We sued after they egregiously redrew my district, and we were able to get the entire map of the state of New York thrown out. And it was then a court-appointed independent master that drew the lines. And what happened when we actually had fair maps in New York? Republicans made significant gains, and the Democrats lost two of their incumbents. So I think that that was a lesson to Kathy Hochul and the Democrats. They tried to do the same thing again in 2024 when they did a switcheroo on the Court of Appeals and tried to remove the chief judge that had sided with us and then backfill that position with somebody who did not side with us. And basically that was very corrupt what Kathy Hochul did. They did win an opportunity to redraw, but because of the public outrage and the scrutiny nationally, they did not change the maps much in 2024. So here we are again, potential redistricting battle, but there would need to be a constitutional amendment, which would mean that it would have to pass this legislative session, next legislative session, and then go to the voters in a referendum. So the earliest they could potentially redraw these maps would be for 2028. But nonetheless, I think we will fight back and we will defeat them once again.
Right. And it's interesting, Congresswoman, because we often said here that the path to taking the House in 2024 did run through New York, because we know that there were a lot of those Republican seats that ultimately helped the GOP get to the majority. But just to put a finer point on this conversation about redistricting, are you confident that if this were to happen again, that same legal pathway would be there for you to protect against the efforts that could be targeting your own district?
Well, again, it would have to go to a public referendum, and I think we would actually win that once again. We did win it the first time around when they tried to do this. And then what they did was they just ignored the will of the people and jammed it through anyway, which is why we were able to sue successfully in court. What I would say to my fellow Republicans is that we have the opportunity here to win on merit, and that's the way elections should be. We've just delivered very significant tax relief for working Americans, for middle-class families, for senior citizens. 88% of seniors across the country are going to see their tax liability on Social Security erased when they do their refunds next year. The economy is doing well. We're seeing trillions of dollars in private investment. We're seeing a lot of good things that have happened, whether it's prices coming down, energy costs coming down, mortgage rates coming down. And I think that we need to make sure that we're going out and talking about these successes, because we're going to win on merit. We don't need to stoop to what the Democrats tried to do in New York, which is they could not win on merit in debate, which is why they redrew our maps or attempted to do so. So again, I think this opens up a slippery slope. I don't want to see it happening. And aside from that, it shouldn't be happening only once a decade after the census, which means the next redrawing of maps should be in 2032.